and welcome to another Bev Rambles. I think this is number 5. I'm not too sure. I think it is number 5. But yeah, quite fun. There's a few things for me to go over. Obviously, for those of you that have watched this before, this is me drinking and just having a bloody good ramble about what's in the news and stuff that's on my mind and all this kind of stuff, and it's still done while I'm drinking, or have been drinking in some cases. Tonight I'm on WKD Original Vodka Iron Brew, which is weird because in the last video I spoke about Scottish independence, and it's almost like they're trying to buy me into thinking it's a good thing. Anyway, in this video, the first thing that I want to talk about is a program that's been on over here in the United Kingdom, which is called Benefit Street. Now, Benefit Street, for those of you that don't have Channel 4 in other parts of the world, or can't get the signal of it, they've been doing a program in the United Kingdom which is called Benefit Street, and basically what it is, over the course of a year they filmed this one street somewhere in the Midlands, and it's basically following the lives of a load of people that claim benefits of all kinds, really. I didn't watch the first episode of it, I'll be honest with you, because knowing that it's by Channel 4, I knew that basically they wanted to cause an outrage about something, because they wanted people to watch. That's all that they're interested in. The company that produces it have got connections with people in the government who deal with benefits and all that kind of stuff, and it's basically edited to the point you would watch it and think, these are the low-life scum of the United Kingdom, they shouldn't be allowed benefits, we shouldn't have a benefit system, save the money, money can go spent elsewhere, blah blah blah, all that kind of the usual stuff that you get to hear as an unemployed person. The reality of the show is that the people that are featured in this show, when they've signed up and it's been filmed and everything like that, they've been under the pretense of, we are purely filming it just to see what your life is like. Like what I was saying a minute ago, the editing of it is that you think these people should be dead. And that is actually quite true for quite a chunk of the United Kingdom population. These people have been subjected to death threats via social media, and I believe actually face-to-face in a number of incidents as well. The channel is now trying to sort of backtrack on it a little bit. It knows it's got into the news about this. It knows that it's a topic that people are looking into, they are talking about it, and the people are forming their own opinions of it away from what this show is trying to portray. They're creating this extra show about it and how it's filmed and all this kind of bollocks, and it's like, do you know what? No, Channel 4, you've actually fucked a lot of people over this time, and you should face some criticism for it, and damn right I fucking think they should as well. I'm genuinely pissed off with Channel 4 because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the concept of the show is a good idea. Show how people are living while they're claiming benefits. That should be shown, because these are some of the most vulnerable people in the United Kingdom. And I will come on to it again later on, because it is in the news at the moment that someone has said something and it's starting to bring this topic around again. But the Department for Work and Pensions, as you will know if you've watched any other videos on this channel, you will know I'm not a fan of the Department for Work and Pensions. I think it should be scrapped and started over. I think the benefit system, the reforms that they're trying to bring in, is disgusting. It's not going to work, and a lot of people will die because of it. But anyway, I digress. There's another thing which I've spoken about in another video, I think it's the last Drunken Rambles video actually, where I said about the Winter Olympics and how I was fucking off all these brands and I wasn't going to have anything to do with them and all that kind of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I still haven't had anything to do with the brands, I still won't have anything to do with the brands, they can still go and suck my arsehole. But, one thing that I am quite disappointed in though, is people's attitude towards the Olympics. Now, don't get me wrong, I do understand that being involved in any part of the Olympics is some people's lifelong dream. Even if it's not in the main Olympics, even if it's in the Winter Olympics, which, yes, has got less viewers and all this kind of shite, it still is some people's dream. But I personally, and I was thinking about this before when I was watching, because we won gold in something, and I was thinking about this before, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know, nice one, you know, we've gone and we've got a gold medal and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, great, okay, but would you really want your dream to ever possibly be tainted by someone being able to turn around and go, yeah, but you won that in a country which is persecuting people based on a belief of their sexuality? Like, would you really want that? I personally wouldn't. I would have personally dropped out of the Olympics and said, you know what, I'll wait till the next time round, even if I never got picked again. There has been very little in the way of support from the athletes that we've sent over to Russia, and again, that is something I'm quite disappointed about, because, you know, okay, yes, they're in the country, yes, they are going after their possibly lifelong dream and all that kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, yeah, they only want to come home with a medal, even if it is just bronze or whatever. They want to have taken part in the Olympics, that is fine, but you're still kind of showing support to a committee which is allowing this to happen, that is generating quite a bit of money in taxes for that country. You're still a part of that. And for me, that is something to be a little bit ashamed of, because I personally, my morals are, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. Anyway, I think it's about time that we went on to some of the news stories, because I've been having a look through what's in the news, and by the Christ, there is a lot to talk about. So, first things first, and a lot of the news at the moment is saying about the storms that we've had over here in the United Kingdom. Now, without giving too much away, for those of you that watch videos on like Life with Bev, that kind of thing, which is another blog that I've got, if you watch that, you will know that on a Wednesday, me and Ian will get together and we'll film the Bev and Ian videos that we do. Luckily, over the past couple of weeks, we have actually built up, I think, almost 2 months ahead of ourselves now with videos. Like, we've got quite a few in the bank already, and what that means is, because we are coming to the end of doing Life with Bev, we are able to spend a greater amount of time on the projects that we have coming up, because, you know, we're not going out without a bit of a bang, so we've got a lot of work to do. And of course, Wednesday that has just gone, we had a lot of filming to do, and luckily we were sort of able to get that done in the afternoon. Wednesday afternoon through till about, say about what, 1 in the morning or something like that, this area was actually hit by the storm. Now, it wasn't as bad as you know, some other parts of the country have had it by any stretch of the imagination. We didn't get it as bad. We got like the rain, we got the really strong winds, all that kind of stuff. Around here there was no flooding, so touch wood, that didn't happen to us. I think the most amount of drama that we saw on the night was the people who live next door to me, their trampoline that is in their back garden normally ended up kind of sitting on the top of their fence, and that's it. Like, the wind was that strong, it actually lifted up this trampoline made of metal and placed it on their fence. That was great to see. Obviously, there has been storms that have hit us since, and for some reason we just seem to be going through this stage of really, really, really shit weather at the moment. And that is basically taking up a lot of the news, and I think, you know, again, it is showing that the United Kingdom, we just genuinely can't cope with any weather. And it's not even that we get it in extremes. I mean, okay, yes, the rain that we've had recently, we've had a lot of rain in certain parts of this country. And yes, the winds, we have had really strong winds, you know, when these storms have hit. But it's like, do you know, was it last year or the year before? And we had loads of snow, and we couldn't cope with the snow, and all the schools had to close. There was no public transport running, all this kind of stuff. During the summer, again this year, I guarantee it'll happen. We'll have a couple of days of strong wind, and the trees will come down and public transport will stop and we'll have to close the schools and the roof will get blown off a building. And then of course during the summer we will probably get a couple of days of hot weather and it's a heat wave and we have to close the schools and public transport stops running and everything like that. And then of course it comes back to winter and it's raining and it's cold, and it's just like, do you know what, why the fuck can't we cope with any weather in this country? Like, really, why can't we cope with it? Is it just me that thinks we genuinely can't cope in the United Kingdom with any weather at all? I don't know why it is. Our government just don't seem to want to invest in keeping this country running. You know, it is possible for the government and the councils to buy the snow ploughs that are needed to clear the roads to keep the country running when it snows, but they won't buy them. It is possible that the government, in all government buildings, could install air conditioning to keep the country going when it gets too hot, but they won't. They could install better flood defences and certainly fucking better drainage systems for when it rains heavily, but they won't. And it's like, who is going to do this? Because yet again, it's the outcry of the people, where they're going, we need fucking help, and the government are going, well, money is no objective, and we're going to come down and we'll look at the floods, but we're not actually going to kind of get involved ourselves because, you know, we've got a country to run. And this isn't targeted to any particular political party. This is right across the board. You know, this Nigel Farage, this David Cameron, Nick Clegg, who's the puppet from Labour? Oh God, he looks like one of the Punch and Judy dolls. Ed Miliband. That is the only way that I can remember him. Just Punch and Judy. Oh yeah, Ed Miliband. Yeah, and again, this like David Cameron turned around the other day and he was like, "Oh, money will be no objective," you know, and clearing up the floods and everything. And it's like, hang on, you're saying money is no objective. Now, okay, you mean it in the terms of clearing up after the floods, insurance claims, all that kind of stuff. Fine, I get that you mean it in that sense. But for you to be able to turn around and say that money is no objective over anything, you've got a country where, like, what 30-40% of the country is in poverty. Like, there are families that go to bed every night with no food in their cupboards because they can't afford to feed themselves. And this isn't even people just on benefits. This is working families as well, and they still can't afford food. But money is no objective for the floods. But money is an objective when it comes to putting food into people's mouths. That's where the priority lies with this. I mean, I do hate to say it, I really do, but a Twitter thing, a Twitter handle, that's what you call it, isn't it? A Twitter account. Angry Britain pointed out the other day that some of the houses that have got caught up in the flooding, not all of them, because, yeah, okay, you know, these rivers have burst banks and everything like that. Some of these houses are built on floodplains. You can't not expect to get flooded if you buy a house on a floodplain, because that land is going to flood at some point, and it's known that it's going to flood at some point. So yeah, the sympathy does waver a little bit there, because it's kind of like, oh, well, he did buy the house knowing it was on a floodplain. Something should have known about that. But yeah, so I do kind of agree with him on what he was saying about that. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people have lost all of their possessions. A lot of lives have literally been turned upside down because of all of this, and it does show that we just can't cope with any weather in the country. But we need to do something about this, and actually a long-term thing. I mean, the River Thames has burst its banks in quite a few places. Why? Why? You know? Doesn't this river go out to sea? And the sea does go out, doesn't it? I give up. I really do. I don't know how to clear up a flood. I would be completely useless if I was there, but the point still stands. It's just like, you know what? something needs to be done, and I don't think either of these political parties that we've got in at the moment are, or could possibly have in at the moment, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about it. Speaking of political parties that are in at the moment, another thing that was in the news last night was that Labour... Oh, hi Trey. Sorry, the dog has just decided to jump up next to me. I know you can't see him. Another thing that was in the news yesterday was that Labour had won Manchester, or a part of Manchester, and all that kind of stuff, and people are like, oh, well, it's a sign of the next time that it comes to the main elections in the United Kingdom and Labour's going to win that, and it's like, do you know what, Labour had better not fucking win that. I swear to God, if we think our country's fucked at the moment and you put Labour back in, like, goodbye to the pound sterling. No, I don't think we should have Labour. I don't think we should have UKIP. I don't think we should have the Conservatives. I don't think we should have the Liberal Democrats. I don't know enough about the Green Party to say that we shouldn't have them in, because I've never really paid attention to them. We shouldn't have the BNP in. There is no political party at the moment that stands out for me that go, they know what we need in this country. There genuinely isn't. And I know that a lot of people will say that, you've got to make it's the best out of a bad bunch, so let's vote for Labour. It's like, actually, there's better ones than Labour. I hate to say it, because UKIP have got fuck all of an idea as to how to run the country, but some of their ideas are pretty good. Other ideas, maybe not so much. Like, the racist comments that some members have come out with, and the one about the gays and the weather, and yeah, I don't think they should get in for that. I just don't think they should get in at all. But some of their ideas are headed in the right direction. Maybe we should pay attention to that, but we won't. Okay, what else is in the news then? Let's have a little bit of a look. Right, this is what I was saying about before at the beginning of the video. A church leader has attacked welfare reform. A brief thing of it is that the leader of the Catholic Church in England and Wales condemns the government's social reforms for leaving the poor facing destitution. Couldn't have put it better myself. I haven't watched the full interview. I haven't watched the full interview of everything that he said. I've only seen like a little snippet of it on the television, but the man has actually got a point with this. And this is something that, again, I have said in other videos. Universal credit is a despicable thing. And in the places where it is already, lives are getting turned upside down, but the people that are on it are not being given a voice to say about the faults that are in the system. And you know why? Because the Department for Work and Pensions does not want this to be seen as a failure. And already it is. Do you not remember a couple of months ago here in the United Kingdom that there was a thing about X amount of money had been spent on a computer system, and the computer system was basically a load of shite? And it's like, well, no, a bit of wasted money there, really, wasn't it? A little bit. But again, no one lost their jobs, no one got demoted. Ian Duncan Smith still has a job, which how is completely past me. And nothing changed. One of the things that this leader has said... Sorry, I keep getting stuck, because it's a leather couch, and I polished it the other day, and I keep getting stuck to it. Yeah, so one of the things that this leader has said, where he was actually along the right lines with it, was saying that about when people get sanctioned. Now, there is a backup to sanctions, and it's called the Hardship Allowance. But to get the Hardship Allowance, you first of all have to be put onto the sanction. Then you have to apply for the Hardship Allowance, which means that for about 2 or 3 weeks you have no income. If you are approved for Hardship Allowance, it isn't payable for the first 14 days of a sanction. And it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable that, when people do get normal job seekers allowance, I know that one for starters. When people get the normal amount for job seekers allowance, it's at £72.40 a week, because they've had a rise, and that's the top rate of it. Sorry, the dog's farted. I'm not breathing in through my mouth because I taste that. He's actually disgusting. Do bear with me. Now I can breathe through my mouth again. Oh God, that's David Beckham mixed with fart. This is actually disgusting. You disgust me. Vile. I wouldn't be saying that if it was one of my own. Anyway, so yeah. Where was I? So, top rate of... I need a drink, I'm sorry. That's not even strong enough. Okay, so I was saying... Yes, top rate of job seekers allowance is £72.40 a week. I know because I got the letter saying that it's gone up. If you're under 25, it's gone up, but it's still shit. Obviously, it's a different amount for disability living allowance and all that kind of shite, whatever they're calling it these days. To then take, for example, me. If I was to be put onto a sanction tomorrow, last week I got paid the £71. This week I get nothing, and literally with no notice. It's a case of you're not getting paid, and that's it. There is no way that you can sort of financially plan or save even for if they put you on a sanction. It's just not possible. It's really not. So you're leaving people with no money to pay the bills, so the electric gets cut off. You're leaving people with no money to go and buy food. They starve. You leave people with no water bill, with no money to pay the water bills. They have to go thirsty. You know, it's like, what the fuck gives? You know, they're trying to save money here on a benefit system which is cracking under the pressure. It's not surviving. It needs serious reform. And I'm sorry, Ian Duncan Smith is pathetic. He's not going to bring in the reform that is needed because he's never, ever been on benefits in his life. He doesn't know what it's like to live on benefits. He took part in a programme which I think again was for Channel 4 where certain MPs had to live on benefits for a certain period of time. Now during that period of time there was no sanctions, so they still got the £71 something per week. They had to live in council housing, and it was supposed to be like, do you know what, this is how people live, and you're letting them live like this. Do you know that Ian Duncan Smith actually walked out on that programme? He didn't even complete it. I don't even think he got halfway through. And he left it because of some family crisis or something bullshit like that. It's pathetic. Genuinely pathetic. And I'm sorry, but this church leader is spot on with what he says, from what I've seen. I've not seen it all yet, but I will. But he's right in what he says. People should listen to him and fucking call for reform. Do you know one thing that is okay, this isn't on the news at the moment, but I'm just going to go off on a ramble because it's Drunken Rambles and Christ knows I'm trying to get drunk. One thing that is really disturbing me at the moment is how little people are taking to the streets these days. Genuinely. I'm not saying that we should take to the streets and there should be riots and all that kind of stuff, because you know me, I don't encourage anything like that. I don't think that's any way to get your voice heard when it comes to doing a protest of any sort. Anyway, thing is, we are facing at the moment like some of the highest prices in petrol that we've ever seen, and if my memory serves me right, hadn't it just gone over 100 pence per litre, and that's when they barricaded off all the trucks that were coming in and they starved the United Kingdom of petrol until the price came down. Didn't they do that? And it had only just gone over. Now you get in some garages that I've seen and they're charging like 148 point something, and no one's doing anything about it other than, you know, signing e-petitions and all that kind of bullshit that just for the most part gets ignored. Electric prices. Have we seen how big the profit margins are when it comes to gas and electric? And we're just letting these companies take that money off us while they make some of the world's biggest profits that you could possibly think of. We're just allowing them to do it. We're just like, oh, roll over, here's our money that we can't afford to give you, but we have to give you, otherwise you'll cut us off. It's not on. Really not on. A woman said to me a couple of months ago, and she was spot on with this, and she said if this was happening years ago, London would be at a standstill on a daily basis. The people would be out marching and saying this isn't acceptable, change it. And where are we today? No one's calling for change. Other than, like I said, online, but let me pay attention to that. But where are the protests? Where are they? Can we not just have a summer of protests where it's like a different thing on a daily basis? And don't get me wrong, I'm not on about like Occupy London and all that kind of stuff, because you know me, I don't believe that Occupy ever worked. Like, it didn't do a single thing. Okay, let's while we're rambling, let's go on to Occupy for a little bit, because I don't think this is a topic that I've touched upon before, but Occupy was a massive failure. A huge failure. And in some cases it was just an excuse to be legally homeless on the street. That's what it was. It started off in America, it spread over to the United Kingdom. The original idea behind it was that you've caused this financial crisis, but you're not taking any of the bankers to court over it, and we're having to pay for it, and our costs of living are going up and all that kind of stuff. Perfect excuse for it. Don't get me wrong, absolutely nail on the head. The bankers should be brought in, and I still stand by that. I still think that we should have dragged the bankers into the courts and say, do you know what, you fucked up on this. You sort it out, or we sort it out, and you've no income for the rest of your life. So enjoy your bonus while you've got it, because you've got to make that last another 40 years till you get killed off. That's just me. I mean, Christ knows my justice system would be harsh. But what happened with Occupy was that lots of people got behind the cause and said, yeah, we should be fighting this, and we are the 99% and all this kind of stuff. And then it just turned into like, well, people are just camping in the street. Okay, there's a few placards around, but it's not doing anything, and apparently Occupy London still goes on. The most activity that I've seen is this Facebook page. I'll be completely honest with you, I don't actually think that Occupy is going on in the real world anymore. In fact, in any part of the world, I don't think Occupy is still going. And I did say to people all along that Occupy would fail. And a lot of people go, well, how do you know when it's failed? And I'm like, because nothing changes and the people come off the street. That's simple as. So yeah, I never agreed with Occupy, like in any part of the world. Yes, the original cause of it did speak for the 99% of the nations and all this kind of stuff, but of course got lost because there's an excuse to be homeless and whatever. Anyway, last bit of news, because how long is this video going on for already? We're up to 27 minutes, Jesus Christ. Okay, so last thing, this is a news story that is in the news at the moment, which is saying that Sir Tommy Finlay has died at the age of 91. But that isn't what I want to talk about with this. What I want to talk about with this is social media. Because it just seems that whenever anyone dies, like this thing happened about 2 weeks ago. There's a really famous actor that died. I've never seen any of his work at all. I think it's my mum that told me. Was he in? Oh God, what was he in? Was he in Lost? No, it wasn't. Was it Lost? It's some American show that I've never watched in my entire life. She named some films that he'd been in, and I was like, I've never seen or heard of most of them anyway. But the point of it is that you got so much on social media, people saying, oh, R.I.P., miss you, blah blah blah, and it's like, hang the fuck on. You didn't know him. You didn't fucking know him. He, this fella that was found dead a couple of weeks ago, he was found dead in in his New York apartment, which was a couple of blocks away from where him and his family lived. He is found to have overdosed on illegal substances. It's like, hang on, hold the fuck on here. You're saying to him like, rest in peace, like he's a fucking saint. He's not. He's an actor. He had a damn sight more money than you. And do you honestly think that he would have stopped in the street to have a chat with you if he'd have seen you? No, he didn't know who the fuck you were. You've never met him in your entire life. Why are you giving it all this? Oh, rest in peace, babes. Fuck off. Fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. If you know someone Like, if you personally know someone, fair enough, do the biggest status update on Facebook you can think of. Rest in peace, give it all the fucking holy shite, I don't care, go for it, because you knew that person. When it comes to a celebrity, okay, yeah, they might have been talented in the field of doing whatever it was that they did. There's no need for all this, oh, he was such a good guy, or she was so good, and she was a speaker for the people. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. So, stop it, people, on social media. Stop it. But that's it for this video. I think I've drunkenly rambled enough. Coming up to like over half an hour already. Jesus. But yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for watching. I am going to carry on drinking and rambling to myself. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time in another video. Funnily enough, on YouTube. Weird that, isn't it?